Sam, I know you have a little bit of a limited time here, so I want to just jump right into it. Me and Spaz are going to rip the Band-Aid back off as we have to discuss what your opinions were, especially because I'm sure you wrote something about it or going to coming up potentially. I'm not sure, but at least get your insight, what you thought about the heartbreaker this last weekend on the road. That was not
absolutely.
how we wanted it to go.
I'm absolutely want to talk about that. So I'll just jump right in. You know, here's the first thing I'm going to tell you guys is it's a frustrating loss, but I said it on Facebook and I'll say it right here. This was round one, because if you look at it, both of these teams, if they keep playing the way they're playing, they're going to meet again in the Pac-12 championship. And it's very hard to beat the same team twice. Very hard. And it's not so much that Oregon lost that game as much as you had two heavyweight contenders hitting it out, and punch, counter punch. And it just came down to the one team that made the slightly fewer mistakes than the other. And as it turned out, Coach Lanning maybe before halftime should have kicked a field goal. I do not quibble with the other two times he went for it. It was just a matter of the execution of the plays they wanted to do in those situations. And if you keep fighting, you keep doing the same process, you keep refining the analytics, going forward, that guy, the process is going to get so much better with him going forward, because they'll start figuring out the right plays to do in those situations. But that was, you don't get, but I thought going forward on 4th and 3 at the 47 was the right call, because I don't care if you punt it. I don't care whether you're giving it to Michael Penix at midfield or at the 15-yard line. The way he was slinging the ball in that game, just like the way Bo Nix was slinging the ball in that game. The defenses were not finding many answers. So if you can get the first down on that 4th and 3, you got him. It was the right call. Maybe, going for it was the right call, but maybe, you could argue they could have just done a quarterback draw with Nix, or they could have, the way Jordan James is just powering through people, you could have handed it off to him and played tough man ball. But, again, the reason it's a frustrating game is because it's one of those games where both teams deserve to win. But somebody got the short end of the stick, and it was Oregon. It happens. It's the thing about football is the things that you cheer for are also the same plays that if they're just a little off, just by that much, which is what it was, they're going to break your heart. So the way I look at it is, as long as they learn the few lessons they don't need to learn from it, this team is going to be a lot better going forward. And I just don't see either Washington or Oregon, like I said, losing between now and the Pac-12 championship. We're going to see these guys again.
Yeah. I think so too. And I think the tough game for Washington going forward is going to be that early game in November in Reser Stadium down in Corvallis. That's going to be the tough game for them in the end. I don't believe, did they play USC this year?
I believe they go to USC, yes.
Oh, yeah, that might be tough, but USC doesn't have a defense this year, so like last year.
No, USC does not have a defense. It's I'm after what I saw from USC against Notre Dame, against a team that does have a defense. It's going to be very tough for USC to put up points when the other teams they play have defenses, especially when those teams with defenses like Oregon have offenses too. So suddenly I'm taking Oregon from maybe a slight favorite in that game to I wouldn't say heavy favorite. I would never say heavy favorite against USC ever. But let's say slightly higher favorite than I thought before. But definitely, yeah, Washington's got a buzzsaw coming, potential buzzsaw in Corvallis. And I'd say the biggest hurdle for Oregon going forward, and that's not to overlook Washington State, because, hey, Washington State is a team that it doesn't matter what the record is. They are always a bunch of plucky dudes, and they always get up for the Ducks. But I would say otherwise, the biggest hurdle going forward for Oregon is going to be that trip to Utah. Because Utah is not a picnic to play in. And they're not a picnic team. But you get by Utah, you're looking at the Pac-12 championship unless you stumble on yourselves.
Yeah. I think the only thing about Utah that doesn't concern me as much anymore is with the whole Cam Rising. I don't see Utah going very far in the Pac-12 any further without Cam Rising.
I agree. They're a better team with Rising, but at the same time, I just look at what they've been able to do without him, and the fact that Utah's just a tough place to play. I still would say Oregon is the favorite in that game, but that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get over that, that's the high hurdle between now and a potential Pac-12 rematch with Washington.
And we'll get a good
in my humble opinion.
And we'll get a good taste this weekend too, because Utah plays at USC. So does Utah's defense have to fully carry them, or does their offense take a step forward even without Rising? I think USC defense is not. I don't want to even compare, but that'll be at least a good signature on the road test for Utah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Utah definitely. They're going to find out how well they've done offensively without Cam at USC. There's no question about it.
Have you heard anything, Sam, about Rising?
About how soon he's going to be back?
Yeah.
Honestly, I know about as much as anyone else, and Utah's been pretty tight-lipped.
Yeah, they have week to week. It's like, oh, well, he could play. We'll see how it is. And he doesn't play. I think if he doesn't play this week, I think he's done for the year.
That may be true. You never can tell. You never can tell. But, yeah, the way it's been going, you'd think if he was healthy and ready to go, they would have said, oh, he's practicing. He's looking good. But they have said Zippo. It's almost like they're dangling him out there like a card.
Yeah.
That could be played, but may not be played.
But
we'll see.
The USC guys said that too. They're like, yeah, if Rising's playing, then it's a whole different ballgame. But again, now he's going to be probably pretty rusty too, in the sense of game time situation. So you don't know what Rising you're going to get either. So we're going to have to wait and find out, because it sucks that he's not playing too.
Yeah. All I know is, getting back to Oregon, that's why it's so good that Bo seems to be 100% healthy, as opposed to what we saw of him late last season when his ankle got nicked up. And again, that's why my only real quibble that I have with Lanning, and for that matter with offensive coordinator Will Stein, who, just for the record, I think has done a fabulous job so far, is I'd like to see them run Nix more to keep the defenses honest against the throw a little more. I haven't seen Bo running as much. I would like to see a little more of that. I don't want him run. You never want your quarterback running all the time. I don't care who he is. But I would like to see Bo to just kind of let's have him do a read option, and if he's got an open lane, have him take it. Have him get that 5-10 yards and take the heat off take the heat off his running backs a bit, and for that matter, make the defense be honest against it a little more, and that just opens up your pass game that much further.
I know Stein, when he came in, said he'd like to have a quarterback run 12, 13 times a game, something in that line. Not as much as Dillingham did, because not the quarterback sneak stuff necessarily, but it seems like they're going, we don't need to do it right now because the offense is moving as well as it is. So maybe they're like really saving that for like Texas Tech, where it was like pure desperation mode, where Nick's had to like make those plays. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea either. I wouldn't mind seeing some more read options though.
Yeah, I would too.